Welcome to Naval News with Subbrief. Let's head over to the Middle East, where Carrier Strike Group 3 has arrived to give the President of the United States naval, air, logistic, and ISR options in and over Iran. Now, Carrier Strike Group 3 is centered around the Abraham Lincoln, that's CVN-72, one of the most powerful warships to ever be put to sea. And her air wing is approximately 60 combat aircraft that can maintain persistent strike capability over an area of operations. Now, Carrier Air Wing 9 is on board with the people you see here. These are the sailors that are on board at this time. They can conduct air superiority missions, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance over theater. Accompanying them is a destroyer squadron. Each destroyer in this squadron has over 90 VLS each. From this vertical launch system, they can employ long-range land attack Tomahawks, SM-2, SM-6, and ESSM surface-to-air missiles. They can also launch the anti-submarine rocket torpedo, called ASROC. We've had that for a while. Those allow deep strikes into Iran if necessary. Now, accompanying them, and something that is not much talked about, and rightly so, is the USS Georgia. She is in theater now, ready to break things. She has 154 Tomahawks on board and up to 66 SEALs. Those are special forces for the Navy. And those guys are ready to go ashore and introduce themselves to the NEIRG security forces up there. That would be a bad day for everybody in Iran if they do that. So let's see if it gets to that or not. Let's take a look at the area of operations first for this campaign. Iran sits on the Straits of Hormuz. This is a strategic and important waterway in which much of the world's oil out of the Middle East comes through. Iran conducts marine harassment campaigns in this waterway using its IRGC Navy. Now, the IRGC Navy is different than the Iranian Navy. Iran has a regular Navy with sailors and officers, and they conduct coastal defense and maritime missions just like any other Navy in the world. We're not talking about them. I want to be clear here. The IRGC Navy is the more radicalized, fast attack variant, small craft variant of the Navy. And they're a completely separate branch of the armed forces for Iran. These radical members support the regime that's in power, and they do so with high-speed small boats that are equipped with heavy machine guns and rockets, whether it's shoulder-launched RPGs or surface-to-air missiles, or mounted mortar-like rockets that they shoot into the broadside of ships that travel through the Straits of Hormuz if they don't stop and are compelled to return to like an Iranian port, literally seizing oil assets going through the straits. Iran also employs, alongside that harassment, ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and unmanned aerial vehicles overhead for offensive operations in this theater. Now, Iran has a proxy of regional powers, a network, if you will, between Yemen, Lebanon, and Gaza. Much of this network of proxy powers has been disrupted recently with the actions of Israel and the United States intercepting and just simply dismantling much of this network. But the network still exists, and it is strongest right now in Yemen. Carrier Strike Group 3 could be tasked with further disrupting this type of proxy network, especially in the position she's in, could easily stop much of the reinforcements and equipment that is being shipped to Yemen. We'll see if that ever happens. We don't know. As of this moment, nothing has happened. She simply has just arrived. So the U.S. operates a number of airfields in this region, from United Arab Emirates to Qatar, Bahrain, and Saudi Arabia, way up north in Jordan, and behind me here in Djibouti. So these airfields together have over 100 aircraft, from the F-15 to the F-16 variants, the F-35s, and even the old A-10 is still deployed in Jordan, for example. So these assets can go out and conduct missions at any time. All the airfields that I've mentioned are protected by a network of American theater, ballistic defense missile systems and surface-to-air missile systems like the Patriot batteries are all over this region protecting these assets. Outside of theater, and not shown on this map, are a number of bomber squadrons that could be called in at any time to conduct operations, from the B-52 to the B-1B bombers to the B-2 bombers we saw operate over Iran last summer. Those are still available. So right now, we're at a very high level of military readiness from all branches of the U.S. military. We have massive strike power in theater ready to go. We also have defense in depth defending our forces. And we have sustained logistic operations through a number of air bases and logistic ships at sea with the fleet right now to ensure that we can maintain this posture for an extended period of time. The table is set. This is what it looks like right now. We'll see what happens next. And that's really up to Iran. What are they going to do? Historically, they've provoked a reaction. We will see if they've learned from those lessons and if they do it again this time. And when that happens, whether they provoke a reaction or things de-escalate and calm down, we'll give you guys an update then. All right, this has been Naval News. We'll see what happens. Keep an eye on the ball, guys. Thanks for watching.